How to create first React component. Hello everyone, I welcome in my YouTube channel. In the previous video, we have learned about what is the basic definition of React into 2024 and how to create our first React app. Now in this video, we are going to create our first custom component. But before that, let me just give you overview regarding uh, the folder part. As you know that in the previous applications we created and our app is running completely fine. Now theoretically, let me move over here. Whenever you run your application or whenever you open your projects in Visual Studio Code, over here in the src, most of the time you will find out JSX extension. You can see that app.jsx or main.jsx. So what is the JSX? Full form of a JSX. JSX, that means JavaScript System Syntax Extension, and it is supported by React. But when you run the application, JSX is not. There is nothing when you run the applications through the browser. So we go in depth regarding the JSX extension and many more. In this video, our first target is to create our first component. So for there is a rules whenever you write any code. So in React, everything it is related to JavaScript. So everything, that means the component, all the things whenever you do the programming in React, everything is related to the component, and component is in nothing but the JavaScript functions. So whenever you use the word JavaScript function or a component, make sure that whenever you create your functions, its first character start with the uppercase, and your functions must return the renderable value. Make sure that this two functionality always up and running whenever you create your component. And then another thing is that whatever the code you specified, it should be in this format. So we'll go step by step. But before that, I'm interested to place the image in my this demo code. So what I did it is that this is my applications. We did the npm install, move to the src, and inside the src you can see that the image img folder, which you will not find it out. But currently, for my practical purpose, I just created one img folder and placed the image inside it. Right. So this is what very simple task. You can also able to do it. Now let me move to this Visual Studio Code over here. Now, whenever our application gets hit, you can see that it is basically go through these two portions. First, line number 10, we have specified the div which is with the id as a root, and the another thing which is main.jsx file, right? So as a freshers level, I hope that if those are watching this video, they are completely freshers. So I am using this word like that, index.html, basically trying to call out main.jsx file, which is this file over here, right? Uh, this is the file, and through this file, we are basically pointed out another thing, which is the app. That means the app component. Now, this app component is basically linked with the app.jsx file, right? Over here. So let me revise it. First of all, we have the index.html page. Inside the index.html page, in the body tag, we have the div root. Now over here, whatever the content which you are seeing over here inside this browser, it basically rendered through this div id root. Why? Because in the main.jsx, we have specified the root over here, and this things again needs to point it out to the app.jsx. So we can say that with the use of index.html, this main.html.jsx will work as an entry point or the beginning point, work with the React applications. Now, when I open the app.jsx file, you can see that bunch of a code over here. When I remove this line, let's say this div, and save this application, you can see that images has gone. Why? Because it is hot reload. So when we let me just move cut and paste the code over here. Now let me just remove all this sample code over here, this semicolon. Let me also remove this sample code also, and let me just create a one div inside this, and let me write hello world and save this application, right? A very simple hello world application. You can see that inside the browser it shows me hello world. Now I am interested to create the new component. So in future, whenever we go further in this series, we will create a separate component file and other stuff. But for current functionality, I'm going to create my functions or component over here in the app.jsx file. So this is my component name. It should be start with the capital uppercase, right? Now I need to specify the return statement because we need to return the renderable value. And here, let me just specify the div tag. I'm interested to create the header because my component name is header. And let me just specify the closing bracket over here. No, not like this, because I'm interested to specify the img. So img, then src, that means the path, closing bracket. Now my image is basically reside inside src img header. So what I'll do, src img slash header dot png over here, and then after h1 tag, welcome to React coding class, right? Now we have wrote the code for our component, but basically we need to call this header component somewhere. The things which is specified over here in main.jsx. So for our first practical purpose, what I am going to do inside this app component, let me just specify my header component name or my function name over here. So there is a difference between capital header and small header. This line number 20 is basically my component name, and this is my HTML tag. So I hope that if you're learning the React, I hope you know the difference between the HTML tag and other stuff. So now let me save this application and let's just move to the browser to see our output. So you can see that the image which I place in my img folder display over here. This is welcome to React coding class, which is come through over here, line number 11. So after executing the header component, it display the code of a hello world down below over here. So I hope you get the idea how to create our first React component. And keep subscribe, and thank you very much.